Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another
everyone.
Design Cuts live session. Matt, do you want to introduce yourself? Because you'll do a better job than I can, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, it's actually part of my presentation. I've got a little me slide for the people who don't know who I am already, but loads of people do know. But I am the creative director here at Design Cuts. So it's my job to make stuff look nice and to tell other designers how to make stuff look nice.
Get that
What a
on a
great
business
job,
card.
right? Crazy. Explain that one at a party. And today I will be, shall I share my presentation and we can do this thing? Shall I do it?
Absolutely. All right, I'll tell
Okay.
you what, let's jump right in. You all know who Matt is by this point. Matt is much beloved by our community, and to right. And I know you have so much to share today, Matt. You're right. Let's skip past the intros. Let's jump in and just jump straight into the
Because I've
value.
actually got this is crazy, but I have got an intro slide. There we go. So
Incredible. Just quickly, while Matt is loading this, let us know where you're tuning in from. We have a bunch of people here with us today. So obviously there's a lot of people in the community looking to make digital products. So stay tuned. It's going to be great. But Matt, over to you.
thanks ever so much, Tom. Right, I'm just going to fiddle with my window so I can see absolutely everything here. So hopefully everybody can see that and I can see the chat. That's great. So today we are looking at an introduction to designing and selling digital design products. Those of you who know Design Cuts well and who've been to previous sessions on this subject will be covering some of the same content in that, but there's some new content in here as well. And we'll be running actually another session next month as well. So this is a really great lead up to that and a really great introduction into the opportunity of selling digital design products and just how you can actually get started as well. So some of the things you might know already about, if you've got no idea about selling digital design products, if you just bought them, you can make money from selling digital design products, obviously, but you might not know how much money you can make. You know, products can include fonts, brushes, textures, illustrations, etc. But again, you might not know what products there are, what the scope is, and how your skill set could actually translate to those products and what you could sell. And obviously you can sell, most people know that you can sell products as individual products, or you can sell them in design bundles, because most people will have experience of those two things but again, most people won't know the inherent opportunity in both of those. Excuse me. So first of all, a little bit of background. So there we go, that's me. Anyone who follows me on Instagram will know I don't take myself too seriously. I am the creative director at Design Cuts, so it is my job to make sure that our brand stays in line, that everything looks great, that all the products that are coming onto our site are of the highest quality, but it's also my job to help our designers and to nurture them as well with their products. In my background, I've worked full-time freelance and I've run my own design agency as well, so that's how I've sort of ended up with the skill set that I've got. I run the Design Cuts Product Academy, which I will be talking about a little bit, which helps designers to actually design products. And I run the Design Cuts exclusive product program, which is kind of our halo products. It's our best of the best products that we make with the best designers out there, which is kind of the pinnacle of product design that you can get to if you keep working at it. And I am a helper. I am not an influencer. Someone asked me to speak at another live event,
Front
and
row,
at front row, I was first, and they said, "Yeah, you're not an influencer," and I'm like, "No, I'm not an influencer." They're like, "You keep it real." I'm like, "Yeah, I do keep it real." So yeah, I'm more into helping the community, into helping other designers. I've been there. I'm not after millions of followers. I just want to help other designers out in their journey.
Here.
So yeah, looking forward to speaking at front row as well. That should be super cool. So a little bit about Design Cuts for anyone who's only just come across us, although lots of the people here know lots about Design Cuts already. We are the only fully curated digital design product marketplace. So we take like the top 1% of the products, only the best of the best come onto our marketplace. We believe in helping and supporting our community through free learning. We've made our designers millions of dollars over the past 5 years, and I'm sure some of them would agree that we've actually been quite transformative for their careers, which is really great and very rewarding. And we support and nurture our designers all the way from newbies to hopefully lots of you turning up today, through to product design professionals, the likes of Slightam and Lisa Glanz, who are at the pinnacle of their career. We also produce these wonderful things called exclusive products, and I'm very proud to say that it's my job to lead this up, where we come up with unique ideas and new angles, and we combine those with leading designers. We advise them on the product creation and give creative direction all the way through, and give marketing support as well. And off the back of that, we create the highest quality, most innovative, most comprehensive products out there. And that's really how I have the knowledge that I have now to give you through actually doing this, because I've actually got this industry experience with these leading designers. And this is what we share via the Product Academy and via these sessions. And it's worth saying that, you know, some of these products here, including the Ultimate Tool Brush, there are our leading products. That one's been our bestseller since October, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, to say people love it is an understatement.
Exactly.
It's a bit of a game changer, that one.
Exactly. So I'll be highlighting these ones throughout this presentation. So first of all, let's look at the opportunity. If you don't know what the opportunity is of designing and selling digital design products, it's absolutely awesome. It's really, really good. Any skill set, so whatever your skill set as a designer, whether you like fonts, textures, brushes, you're a photographer, an illustrator, etc., there is a type of product that you can sell to make money. It's perfect as a side hustle, so this is something you can do initially in your spare time. You can build up, you know, some residual income in that and some ongoing passive income, so you don't have to do too much and don't have to push it too hard, so you can dip in and out of it. And then over time, you can build up and get more and more products to make more and more money. You can earn hundreds, thousands of dollars a year initially, but the best designers can earn tens of thousands to literally hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So this is a career that you can slowly move into until you can actually just think, right, okay, I can do this full time in a fairly risk-free way, really. It can take years to build up to be a top designer, but you will earn along the way. So it's actually quite compelling. You know, if you're a graphic designer, but you'd like to de-risk, you know, you might not always be getting work from your clients. You can do this as a side hustle. You can make some passive income with it. You can build that up over time. And when times are hard, at least you've got that income coming in. And if your product design career goes really well, you might even stop your other design career.
Matt, I love the whole spectrum of that as well, because we hear delighted people who say, you know, I paid off my house loan, I put my kids through college, I support my family, it changed my life. Equally,
Sure.
we talk to people where they're like, I earn a bit every month, and this is very much a kind of hobby side hustle for me, and it pays my coffee.
Yeah,
And I love it.
absolutely. And it's such a risk-free thing you can do as well, because, you know, if you've got a little bit of spare time, you can make a product. You know, we'll give you the resources to do it. We'll give you the backup through the Product Academy. You can push a product out there and you can see how it goes and start making some income. Hopefully you're thinking at this point, oh, that sounds really good. Just how do I get started? Again, many of you might also already know about this. People who follow me on Instagram, people who follow Design Cuts. We have got the Product Academy. It's the largest, most comprehensive course on digital design products out there. It's completely free. We support it with live sessions in our learning hubs, such as this one, and we're going to run one next month as well, which I'll tell you about later on. And I provide further supporting content on Instagram, including weekly tips and free design templates. So there's lots of great content there, and a real community building around it, and lots of product designers also want to help other people design products. It's a very inclusive community.
And everyone watching live right now, there's a bunch of you. Matt is ridiculously humble, so I'm going to shout it out. The Product Academy is just incredible. I mean, it is
Thank you, Tom.
it's so comprehensive. And I work with Matt. I know how much work went into this thing. But I think it's fair to say there is more included and there is more value than courses that I know that charge hundreds of dollars. And it was a real decision to go and, you know, help the community at scale for free with this stuff, because we believe in the impact it's going to have. But, you know, this is not like a quick little guide. This is a comprehensive, like premium level course, basically. So check it out.
Large articles supported with a lot of free content as well. Everything from the opportunity to finding your talent, defining your audience, how to create your brand, how to research your product, create your product, present, and then market your product. It's all there. Step-by-step guides for everything with examples of other products, and actionable steps at the bottom as well to make it as easy as possible. And as I say, all backed up by my content on Instagram as well, which we can link up later.
Love it. A bunch of people just saying they actually didn't know about the Product Academy. So I
No
think we've
way,
got some
cool.
new
Well,
new students in there.
I was going to
Really
say,
cool.
well, this session's kind of a bit of an official launch for it, isn't it? Really, it's a bit of an overdue launch. So I hope you guys enjoy it, because I really enjoyed writing it, and I know a lot of designers have got a lot out of it, including a lot of very well-established designers who we've shared it with. Cool. So at this point, you might think, okay, great, look, I am really interested in designing products, but I don't know what I want to actually design. So you need to ask yourself some questions. You need to say to yourself, look, what skills do I have? What are you most passionate about? How can you translate those skills to actual products? Where can you provide the very highest quality? Because people are looking for really high quality products, and designers are very discerning. And you need to be very, very honest with yourself. By that, I actually mean that you should look at the products within that category. If your design work isn't as good as, or doesn't better that design work, what you might be better off doing initially is leveling up whatever that design work might be before you start producing products, if that makes sense. So just be a little bit honest with yourself about, is your design work good enough to make a product within the category you're actually focusing on? In terms of actually deciding what you want to do, we've helped you out here. If you go to the Find Your Talent article on the Product Academy, you will see all the main types of skill sets: graphic design, photography and image manipulation, type designer, etc. And I've put underneath it all the categories of products underneath that are applicable to those skill sets. So you can go along, you think, right, I'm into graphic design. Okay, let's check out actions. Let's check out UI kits, brushes, greetings cards, etc., templates. And you can see what floats your boat, basically what gets you excited. Where do you think you can bring quality? So it's really, really important to just find that out first. And that particular article will help you do that. And once you've found your talent and you think you want, what you want to work within, the next step is to research. Now, you'll hear me use this word a lot: research, 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 because it will be all about immersing yourself in that category, all about looking at all the products, looking at all the product designers, seeing what they do, seeing if there's any gaps, what products are there, what products might there be, what are the opportunities, visit marketplaces, visit forums, discussion groups, social, Instagram, study and follow the best designers within that category. If you're, for instance, in illustration, a fantastic designer to follow would be the wonderful Lisa Glantz, who is beyond talented. And she's got loads of fantastic content, and she shares a lot on social media as well, as many of the product designers do. So follow her, look at her products, look at the other leading designers' products, actually engage with them, talk to them about their work. They are there, they want to help other designers, so take that help. You will see on the right-hand side here her offering free mentoring sessions, which is just absolutely awesome. And I do know a designer that actually took her up on this and said it was absolutely fantastic. So, make those connections early. You will be able to use those later on in your career, and these designers want to actually help. Do note what makes their products better than others and why they stand out. So just going to have to grab some water.
All good. And I think, Matt, what you're talking about here is just immersing yourself. I think, this kind of thing does not work holding it at an arm's length. You need to dive in, consume, talk to people, practice, just get involved and get amongst it. And you're
You
going to
really
soak up
do.
a lot.
And it is an incredibly open community of designers out there. These aren't designers who are aloof, who won't talk to you, who aren't reaching out and trying to share these skills. They are doing all of those things, and there's people like us out there who want to help you. So, take that help, make those connections. I will be talking about it later on, but those connections will help you in your career later on. I've said here, it's also important to build a virtual creative director. Now, what is that? Well, not everybody has access to a creative director to get feedback on their work. But as all designers know, it is vitally important to get feedback on your work, because that shortcuts the design process. when you look at something all day, you are completely blind to it. When you come up with an idea, it's very, very hard to be objective. Build up a network of designers, if you can make connections with leading designers or people in the industry or friends or people whose eye you trust, and actually use those as a virtual creative director to get feedback on your work and your ideas. It will be a massive, massive shortcut to doing, to speeding up your design and to creating quality products. The next thing you need to do is you need to define your audience. As all designers know, or hopefully know, your audience is absolutely crucial. If your design work doesn't resonate with your audience, it won't convert. If your products don't resonate with your audience, they won't sell. So you need to do some research whilst you're immersing yourself in your category, in all those products, gather some information, find out who your audience are and note it all down. Look at the hard metrics, look at their gender, look at their age, look at their job, look at soft metrics like their personality, what language resonates with them, what do they like, etc. All those kind of things. And also think not only who are you selling to, but who will your audience do? You're selling to designers, so who are they selling to? Because your products should make them realize that they can actually sell more easily to their clients, and then they will actually start buying your products. Again, if you go into the Product Academy, you will see in the Define Your Audience article, which I've popped over on the right-hand side, actually how to do it, all the questions there you can actually do, and also an example audience definition where I actually went through this for the Artifacts Forge, one of our designers, and I actually defined it as an example of actually how it's done. And you will also see in there some ways you can actually use that audience definition going forward.
Matt, hopefully I'm not skipping ahead to a different section of today. But something I've noticed, and I guess this is true for any type of creative work beyond just products, by nature, if your work is kind of thrown out there quickly, a bit half-assed, and it's perhaps more average, there's going to be a ton more competition, right? Because that's what most people do.
For sure.
And
For sure.
I would say most creators don't go this in depth, but therefore there is a tremendous opportunity for the people that do, like Artifacts Forge and many others mentioned.
Absolutely huge, and you can see the standouts like the Artifacts Forge, the Julia Dreams, the Lisa Glanz, the Shout Bam, the Debbie Simoncelli, etc., the Chris Lawrence. These are the people who are really bothered, who do the background research, and who I think the most important thing in creating products is who go the extra mile. If you're willing
one
to
of my
go
favorite
the extra mile,
quotes.
yeah, but it is. If you're willing to go the extra mile, you will get that back.
Well, you know what? If you go the extra mile, it's less crowded there.
Yeah, absolutely. Considerably less crowded because everyone else is back at home having a cup of tea.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, doesn't it? Biscuits, bring the biscuits. Okay, so do at the initial stage start to think about branding once you've defined your audience, the two mesh together. But I have to mention this, and this is something Tom has flagged on his Insta as well. Put your products and sales first. That's the first step. It should be all about your products, all about your sales. You can, if you're not careful, get lost in your own branding, spend ages doing a logo and a website and this and that and fantastic presentation, but sometimes it's just a little bit of a way to hide from doing the actual work of selling great products and making them. So whilst you should think about your branding initially, all you really need is kind of a simple logo or even your name on your products so that you start to build that equity and that recognition for the quality of your products, and some kind of social media presence on Instagram will probably do to get you going. At a later date, you can think about websites, etc., etc., etc. But initially, by all means, do think about the branding. You should, but you don't have to niche into it too much. However, think about your visual branding and your tone of voice and how you are going to engage with your audience. Find differentiation. Look at the competition. How can you differentiate from them? How can your product presentation differentiate itself? How can you stand out and find an identity which will be recognizable to your audience? So every time they look at one of your products, they're like, oh, that is by Lisa Glanz. Oh, that's by Shoutbam. And they're not having to start from square one. They've already got that recognition. It's like, oh, I've bought one of their products before. It was good quality. Maybe I'll buy this one. It'll give you a bit of a leg up.
We hear that all the time, actually. people are like, I
Absolutely.
buy the product before I even, scroll down and see what it is, because I know it's going to be great.
Absolutely. The power of brand equity and building up that brand equity is so, so strong. And if you look on the right-hand side for a bit of differentiation, there's the in his underground lair. So,
I don't know
he is the
anyone that's
mad
got a brand like
scientist selling
Scott.
his comic design. But he has found, he's looked at his audience, he does like, comic related design. How is he going to resonate with them? Well, he has found, he's literally branded himself, around that for recognition. So it just shows how far you can go with these things, and how you can get differentiation, and how you can build that equity. So you found your audience, you've got a good idea of the kind of thing you want to make, etc., etc. You've done all the background work, all that hard research. Next thing, you need to find a concept. What's actually going to sell? Here's that word again. Research is all about the research. It's all about immersing yourself in your product category, looking for requests, look for wish lists in marketplaces, check out forums, discussion groups, look on social media for people actually asking for stuff. Come on Design Cuts live sessions. You will see people asking for stuff, and you will see requests. Also think about other already popular products, concepts out there that you could improve upon, not copy, but think, okay, I can elevate that. I can take it to another level. Are the pain points you can have a fix for, but it can be made into a product? And can you target a new or growing category, such as how Procreate was, let's say, a year and a half ago, and still is quite vibrant now, where there isn't as much competition, where there's a bit of clear space, and when your products can really shine. As a couple of examples of this, this is kind of the two different ways you could do this. Grid Builder is more the, Ian Barnard recognized a problem within his work, something that was difficult. It was difficult to put together lettering pretty quickly and Procreate in a structured way. So, he created this grid product and thought, well, maybe I can sell this product, and it's done absolutely fantastically well. In fact, it might even be the top selling product of all time. It's got to be right up there.
Yeah, it's been a huge success.
Absolutely
Sure.
huge. So that's a really great example of someone finding something in their workflow that they've improved that they can then sell. On the flip side of that, the Ultimate Brush Toolbox, these are, brushes for Procreate, Photoshop, etc. This has been done before. However, what Design Cuts recognized was that there wasn't a really, really massive halo product within the market that just did all of it. There wasn't a must-buy brush pack, something that included oil, acrylic, watercolor, gouache, pastel, charcoal, ink, pencil, something that was actually created with leading designers, so that there was a real level of differentiation and quality there. So we reached out to Nathan at Trailhead and said, would you like to put this together? We will market it and we will sell it. And it has been absolutely huge. So it's possible to look at the market and think, well, this has been done already, but it hasn't been done to the very highest level, or there's another opportunity, or I can do something slightly different. So that is another way of doing it as well. Once you have an idea for your product, what's a really, really great idea is to actually create a scope document. Get that stuff down, get it down in writing, create a scope document. We've created a free template. So if our lovely team can actually link that up, and you can actually get to it. It's just a Google document. It's something we use with all our exclusive product designers, and it's somewhere for you to outline the concept. What's going to be in the product? What will it do? How much do you think it might cost? What's the value proposition? So what are the benefits of that product? What are the problems it might solve with your audience? And these are all things you should establish really, really early on, because it will shape the product, and it will also shape your marketing material. And if you reach out to a distributor such as Design Cuts, it will shape our marketing as well, and it will inform us and help us sell your products.
Matt, can I ask a question about this bit?
Yes.
So I think it's fair to say that out of the two of us, you're probably the more organized one. And I love watching
I almost
you.
spat my water out then, because I'm not the most organized sometimes.
I think you are when it comes to stuff like this. And I know I talked to Molly Superthorpe the other day, and she's, very much works this way. And she was kind of complimenting you on how organized you were with project planning and so on.
I'm a huge
For
believer in it.
someone like me, or perhaps even like a younger version of what I was like, I used to be even worse. If they look at that and go, God, that looks really intimidating, how can they start to train themselves to work more in this way without having to go 0 to 60?
Well, I should say that this document, when you download it, has holding text in it and explanations of what things are. So even the value proposition, this is the version that I've pulled from actually our designers. So the version that I've made for our community has descriptions in all of these fields. And also, like, the value proposition has got a link off to the Product Academy, which explains exactly what a value proposition is.
So it holds your hand through and it guides you. It's not just like an empty spreadsheet that's intimidating. They can actually work through it.
Not at all. There's holding text in there which explains how to do it. And I believe I think I did a live session on this as well. Pretty
I think
sure.
you did.
Actually, yeah, in our Learning Hub, which actually talks you through how to do this. So do check that out in the Learning Hub as well. So you won't actually be, and I think there's a link off the top of it as well to that session. So yeah, there's backup, don't worry. And plenty of people I know, plenty of designers that have found me on Instagram have just gone straight into using this and haven't had any issues, which is absolutely fantastic. What this will do as well, again, you can reach out to your virtual creative director at feedback. It's a Google document. You can share it with them. They can comment. You can comment. You can get a bit of discussion in there. You can change it and you can fine tune it. Perhaps hopefully they'll be really honest and go, well, actually, this isn't a great idea, or have you thought of this? So you can start fine tuning that concept before you actually put the time in. Don't waste time in the design phase when you can just spend a little bit of time now in the planning phase. And it will absolutely pay dividends. So what you can also do is you can look at the timeline within that. So if you can break down each of those elements, and I'm just going to flick back to the other one, and this is for Trailhead's brush pack. You'll see there's a watercolor spec, a pastel spec, a crayon spec, a gouache spec, an acrylic spec. So what he's done is said, here's the main idea for the product. Here's all the different elements that I'm going to create within that. So he's broken it up. And then he's put together a proposed timeline for those, when he'd like to complete those by, all the way through to a final product completion date. Oh, do you know what? I've just rolled over that and got that again. Can't help myself. So you might think, well, that's pretty full on, and you might need that for an exclusive product, but why do I need it? This is something I'm doing in my spare time. Well, it is, but for anyone, to help give yourself the encouragement to actually do this, to help keep up a product cadence, maybe you want to release 2 or 3 products a year, you should try and work to a timeline for these things. And then, within that spec, if you're finding there's too much to chew, if there's too much work, you can actually take out some of those deliverables, because the only person who knows what deliverables are in the product and who is piling the pressure on really is you. You can always take out some of those deliverables to meet that launch date and actually add them back in later on. You can update the product, you can re-promote it, you can reduce the price again. It's a great opportunity to actually remarket your product every time you update it. So it's actually really, really useful to have a timeline. Oh yeah, and I've said here, it can reduce stress as well. It does actually reduce stress because you can do that. You can actually reduce stress by putting a timeline in.
The classic case of working well to deadlines, Ian Barnard.
Yes.
Practically every time I talk to him, he's like, I literally cannot get anything done unless there's someone standing over me being like, I need it by that date. It's just how some people work.
It is, and your virtual creative director hopefully will be able to help. And as soon as you put a date in, that will give you some kind of impetus to actually get it done. And I know, Tom, we find this in business all the time, don't we? If you don't set these things, often they don't get done and they can drift, and it can take more time to do things. Okay, you've got all that together. You've got a really good concept. You've had the feedback from your virtual creative director. You know your audience. You've got a little bit of idea of your brand. Now it's time to actually design your product. So, as we all know, the first step of these, and obviously we've seen these before, anyone who's seen sessions on this, I can't show people's mood boards. We don't have the copyright on everything that's put in a mood board. A mood board is just, you picking lots of bits and bobs online from Google Images, etc. And that giving you an idea of the style, of the color, of looking at other people's products and saying, I could do something similar to this and something similar to that, but putting notes on it to say, but then I could add this and that. That's the kind of thing you can actually put in your mood boards. So this is just a mock-up of what they could look like in terms of, again, the brush pack saying, no, the oil pack could be something like this. This is what the brushes could look like. The pastels pack like this, the watercolor like this, etc. So it's just to give you that initial flavor and direction, and it's an absolutely crucial step that I go through with all our exclusive product designers. Off the back of that, you go into the initial design phase. So you kind of got a feeling for that. So you're starting to flesh out actually the product itself and what it might look like and what the elements might look like and what the functionality might be like. You know, you're establishing that initial design focus and direction. Again, you're gathering feedback all the way through and you're fine tuning it. You're trying out ideas at this stage rather than going all the way through. You don't want to design your whole product and then you get feedback off someone and they go, oh, actually, that's not so great. What about this? And you're like, oh man, I should have thought of that. And you've got to go all the way back and do it all again. This is the time to do it. You know, don't go down the design rabbit hole. Don't waste your time.
Can I just repeat that last point for the people at the back? That is such a golden tip, like seriously.
It really is.
And it's something you have to invariably learn the hard way. I think we all have done.
And it doesn't matter how many years you have been doing design, you will always be tempted to dive in. Always be tempted to do the final design. Oh, I can do this. I've done loads of these so many times. But things get missed and you end up burning more time.
Yeah.
And you can see Chris here from Pretty Little Lines, her wonderful wedding and celebration creator. These were the initial sketches she sent through for wedding invites, etc., etc. There's some beautiful wedding dresses in there. It's got a bouquet creator. You know, it's great for wedding invites, all that kind of stuff. And this is us actually looking at the initial concepts for that, looking at poses for the figures, looking at initial designs for the wedding dresses. And Chris, I don't know if you're watching this, but you should actually design wedding dresses for a living. They were stunning. And actually at the top right, there's also, which is one of my favorite products, which is just hidden away in our marketplace, is a bouquet creator, where she designed loads and loads of different types of flowers. And you can make a virtual bouquet by turning on and off layers. It's fantastic for Valentine's Day. You want to send someone a virtual bouquet of flowers? I would absolutely recommend using this product. It's so, so cool. And her flowers are beautiful.
So I just want to jump in for a sec. Donna in the chat, everyone's loving this for the record, Matt, but Donna just said, wow, feeling a little out of my depth. Not going to lie. What can we say to Donna to set her mind at rest a bit?
It's little steps, I think, Donna. Lots of little steps. Read the Product Academy. You're not what you're looking at here are the best of the best products. Not every product. So go to your category initially. Work out what your category will be and look at the size of products and the quality of products there, just to you know, ease your nerves a little bit, because what I'm showing here, because I have all the examples of them, is the best products in the marketplace. But there's a lot of products which are a lot smaller in terms of scope. You know, you might just make a small texture pack, for instance. You know, maybe you've got photography skills. So you go out and shoot some woodbark textures and you take 30 really nicely shot woodbark textures and you release a product and you make some money off it. You know, you could totally do that. Absolutely. That's a fairly easy thing to do. And also, I will be helping you with the presentation side of things. There's a template you can download for actually doing the cover. And there's lots in the Product Academy to actually help you do this.
Donna says, thank you so much for the kind words. So I totally agree with Matt. You know, not only are we showing the most comprehensive, biggest bestsellers, and there is so much scope for all kinds of smaller packs, but you have to realize that because of the limited time of this session, you're kind of getting a super condensed version of the Product Academy and case studies. So it's a lot of information packed in. The beauty of the Product Academy is you can go through it at your own pace. You could spend a month going through it super slowly if you want and just kind of check bits off. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. I'm going to add that piece and work on it slowly in your own time. But I promise, like, it's designed to hold your hand and make it very achievable.
It absolutely is. And come and check out my Instagram. There's loads of posts on there which are like very small, very digestible tips for everything, including product design and design in general, actually. So it will make it a lot easier to do. And we're also running a session next month where I take just one product and I'm going to break down how it was created in a step-by-step way, which will be really, really digestible. So we can spend, you know, 3/4 of an hour to an hour just looking at that product creation process, and I can hold your hand through it.
Matt, may I make a request then on behalf of the community? Because I know you're going to be doing a bunch of sessions in the future, which I'm really excited for. I think it would be interesting to perhaps show a diversity of products where maybe one of the future case studies is like a super simple small pack, but one that's still popular and beloved by the community, just to show something that's more pared back than the full hog, right?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I can show that I will show that in the next session. So come along to the next session, and I will show the graffiti kit. That's absolutely awesome by Stefan, which is
Nice.
someone I helped to release their very first product. So that will show you kind of a good starting point. So to alleviate that, stress and anxiety, which there is all the backup. We will give you all the backup to get past that. Cool.
You've already got people signing up for that next session, Matt.
Oh, awesome. That's really great. Really great. So yes, I will show that in the next session as well. So do get ongoing feedback. And this is a great time to the next session, because the product on the right-hand side is an illustration pack I've been working with Julia, the wonderful Julia at Julia Dreams on. And we will be breaking down that all the way through, from coming to the concept, to looking at the mood boards, all the way through to the presentation, the commenting, etc., through to the actual release of the product, so that you'll be able to see exactly how it works just for one product. And you'll be able to see that it is super important to get regular feedback on your work. It will speed up the project. As I said, it will create a stronger product. Use something that allows you to get easy comments on that. We use Google Drive. I don't know if you've used that, but you can actually upload images and highlight sections of the image and actually leave comments, which is super cool. So it's really great for getting feedback on your design work. And do remember, next month we will have that creation seminar. So, okay, you've created your product. Now it's time to present your product. Again, these are our best of the best products. Tom, as you said, perhaps I should have put some in there which weren't quite so aspirational, but this shows where you can get to. But do bear in mind, these are designers that have been working on their products for years and years and years. These aren't designers who are just starting off, and they all started off somewhere.
I think it's really good context. And Donna actually said, she was like, no, this is where she wants to get to. So I think it's fantastic to be aspirational. But yeah, it's great. Obviously, everyone having that awareness that there's steps to get there, right?
I mean, absolutely.
Your first product won't look like this.
No, absolutely not. And if you look at Shoutbam's products that they first released, they did not look like this. If you look at Pretty Little Lines, they absolutely did not look like this. If you look at Rox, in terms of his fonts, they weren't this slick. And many designers will actually go back and redo their presentation graphics on their products once they've leveled up their graphic design skills, because not everyone is an awesome graphic designer out of the box. The most important thing, I would say, in your product previews is bridge the imagination gap. For instance, if you have created a brush pack, nobody wants to see those 20 brushes or 30 brushes on screen, but what they absolutely want to see is what you can create with those brushes. Nobody wants to see the design elements, or maybe they want to see a pack of design elements. You've got them all in a grid, great, but what can you actually do with those design elements? If you can bridge the imagination gap, if you can show people the exciting, interesting outcomes and products they can make with your product, it's far more likely to sell. So do go the extra mile, take away that customer's guesswork. It's the outcome that excites, and it's the outcome that sells the product. And these are Trailhead's outcomes. And so also an outcome there that he reached out to another designer. You can also get other designers to give feedback on your work, get them to create examples with your work, and then use that as testimonials in your work. Really powerful tool to help sell your product.
Again, I feel like that's just one of the biggest tips today, actually.
It's huge.
It's so often overlooked, isn't it?
It's so absolutely huge. I mean, the reason this particular product sells and sells and sells is the previews. It is the bridge the imagination gap, and it's because they've got the social proof. They haven't just said, look, here's us using the product. They've gone out to a load of really great designers like Alexei and said, would you be able to use our pack and make an example image of it and then give us a testimonial? We'll give you a copy of the pack. Is that something you'd be interested in doing? You can help me develop the product. And they said, yeah, sure, great. And it's given that differentiation. It's helped them develop the product. It's given them social proof, which will help it sell. And it's given them some great previews. Winner, winner.
Love it. It's so meta
Um,
as well. That's literally what you're doing today. You're like, here's
yeah,
the products you could create, imagination gap, and here's how you get there.
that's exactly it. And if anyone who's designed a business card and presented it to a client, do you want to see that in PDF format, or do you want to see it in a cool mock-up so the client gets excited? They want to see it in a cool mock-up, don't they? Mine certainly did. So
Absolutely.
the single most important presentation graphic is your product cover. Would you pick up a book? Would you open a book if you didn't like the cover? You go into a bookshop. What do? You pick up the ones with the best cover, don't you? And you have a look, see what's inside. It's exactly the same with a product. You need to really nail it. Make that cover exciting, make it engaging, make sure it actually competes with the other covers. Make sure when somebody looks at it, it actually says what's in the product and the scope of the product, and it differentiates. And it says what's in it. There's 30 real media brushes, includes sketches, rough shaders, grain, mixtures, smudges, many more. Oh, many more. What's many more? I'm going to go and have a look. Get them excited. Do include your brand equity on it as well, because you can help sell your products just from the previous products you've sold. Again, that might seem a little daunting. So what we've done is we've put together a really simple product cover template as a PSD. You'll see in number 1, you will download it and you'll be presented with a grid in Photoshop. You can click on the smart object, it will open up. There's a number of different layouts, from the image on the left to the image on the right to the image just surrounding the text, etc. It's got all the recommended elements in it, like software compatibility, a bonus element, the context, what's actually in the product, space for your logo, etc., that help you put together a compelling cover which will actually get people to click through to your products. Number 3 is actually an example cover that I used in a live session that I've already presented to our audience some time back. And number 4 then actually shows how you can then look in place and actually see, does it compete with, say, other texture products? So again, you can check out that live session, and that takes you step by step how to actually design a product cover, again, to make that process for you not daunting and as easy as possible. Cool. So here's a great example of a product cover. This is the Slayout Lettering Masterclass by Shoutbam, and it shows number 1, it shows their brand equity, really important. It's got a really nice clear title. Number 2, Lettering Masterclass, so you know what it's about. Number 3, it's got what's actually in it. So you start to get excited by the scope of the product. Over 120 pages. Wow, that's absolutely massive. Massive Procreate workbook, composition lines. Number 6, and it's actually telling what do you get out of this product. You will become the master of composition. Wow, awesome! This sounds great. And it's got software compatibility as well. So it just shows all the elements you can include in a cover and get it clear and not uncluttered if you use a nice structured cover layout. Next of all, you need to start thinking about your previews. Now, the way we always look at this, and it's actually a term that was coined by the lovely Adrienne first at Design Cuts, who I work with, is a preview story. Use a preview story. They've opened your book cover. Use a story to pull the customer in and excite them. And the story structure will go something like this. Number 1, you hit them with the awesome cover. Show them all the really interesting things. Get them excited. Get them to open the book. Number 2, get them with the intro. Tell them a little bit about the background of the product, how it was made, why it was made. Show you actually understand their problems and that you're looking to solve their problems. Make a connection with them. Give them the scope of the product. What's the differentiators? Oh, wow, there's 300 brushes here. It's all created to feel as natural paints. It's all the brushes you'll ever need in one set. It's giving them a really, really compelling reason to look through the rest of those previews. Number 3, hit them with a big hook. Now, the big hook for my story in this case would be an awesome preview or an awesome outcome, preferably one which is actually combined with social proof. So this particular product, they've reached out and said, great, okay, can you give us a preview, but also can you give us a testimonial? So it's doing 2 things there. It's getting them excited. It's like, this is what you can do with our product, and here's somebody else using it and saying how great it is. That will help your sales. That gets them hooked in and really excited. Then you're looking at the body of the product, number 4, which is actually what's in it. Break your product into categories and show absolutely everything within the product. Don't hide everything away. Show everything clearly, show everything concisely, and keep exciting people all the way through with mock-ups. Once they've looked at the body of that, seal the deal, hit them with a bonus. Some really nice, entertaining bonus like number 5, something which really, this is Freestyler by Ian Bernard. You know, it's got a really nice doodle pack that he's released with the product for free. Everyone likes getting something for free. And don't just leave it there. Number 6, hit them with a finale. Give them an overview, everything they've seen so far, you know, a little bit of social proof. I love your guide. Maybe there's another bonus resource guide in there as well. But this is also another great opportunity to say, look, okay, you've seen about my product. If you're not sure, here's a link to my social media. Here's a link to my website. Engage with me now. You know, it doesn't have to be the end of the sales process. If you need to get them over the line more, you might not be able to do it on our website or somebody else's website, but you might be able to link back into social media, and then they might come back and make the purchase later on.
And Matt, those bonuses often they come in the form of helpful guides and supportive tutorials and stuff like that, where it's
Very
going to
often.
actually help people to leverage and use the product.
Yeah, very often. And a lot of designers find that as they create products over time, their skill set will improve. And that actually the most valuable thing that they can start to give to the designers that they sell to is knowledge. So they can say, okay, here is, so it might be, you know, Shoutbound with their lettering. They might say, well, here is a product for creating lettering. But actually, a lot of it is the guide. You know, a lot of it is the knowledge of actually how to do it that they're selling. So you don't have to just think about selling your product. Think about bundling in your knowledge as well. What can you get out of the product? How can you use it? That's a really, really great bonus. Gets people
Amazing.
excited.
Also, if Jem behind the scenes could link up the chapter of the Product Academy that deals with preview images, what you're seeing here is an overview. I think that might be the longest chapter. It breaks it down in so much detail, exactly how to do each of these sections.
It's massive, and just showing the flower and leaf branding pack by Chris Lauren here. It shows that actually in place. There you've got your number 1, you've got your cover. She actually goes into an introduction, but in this case, it's a more visual introduction. Then we're going actually into the body, in this case, number 3, because we've already got a load of really great compelling mock-ups in there anyway. And then number 4 and 5, you've got those big hooks all the way through. So the whole thing's exciting you by, look, here's what's in the product. Here's what you can do with it. Here's what's in the product. Here's what you can do with it. You're bridging that imagination gap all the way through. And you are just keeping that dialogue with someone to keep them interested in the product. So yeah, as you said, Tom, here it is. Here's the how to design the digital presentation graphics. It goes into it in detail. It shows key takeaways. It talks about the value proposition, and it also links through to the preview story articles I've done in Instagram as well. So please, I know it might sound a little bit of daunting because I'm trying to get a lot of information into this session. Go check out the Product Academy, and do go check out Instagram off the back of that as well. It's far more digestible than this format. So it's time to launch your product. You've created a great product. It's time to launch it. You need to think about a launch strategy. Really, really important. Hopefully, earlier on, you listened to what we suggested, which was build those targeted relationships. Build relationships with other product designers. Build relationships with marketplaces. Reach out to someone such as myself and say, hey, you know, how are you doing? Check out my products, or even just start following my content. And then in return, often I look at other designers and think, that's really interesting. I'll get in touch with them. You know, it's build those relationships, build that dialogue. Those people will help you actually promote your products later on. Do think about promotional channels, channels. Think about all the different marketplaces out there. Think about promoting it on social and reaching out to your network that you've made of designers and other figures in the industry. You know, hopefully by doing that, by building your own social over time, and by giving value, and by helping other people learn, and by nurturing them, which is a lot of product designers do, you will end up with your own audience as well that you can actually promote through. And do think about using a launch incentive such as a discount. It's a really, really powerful way of helping boost those initial sales, and marketplaces such as ours often use it. You can see in the what's popular section here, a couple of products under discount with the green items, so that helps them sell. you can see at the top right, there is Shoutbound's Ultimate Procreate background set. There is them marketing to their own audience via Instagram, and again, using a discount. And at the bottom right, you can see us promoting our products via our emails to our community. So there's a few of the channels there by which you can sell your products. After you've launched your products, think about a post-launch strategy. Don't just think, I've launched my product, I leave it. You can do that. You will make money, you will make that ongoing income, but to maximize that ongoing income, think about product updates, think about re-promoting the product, think about reaching out to those marketplaces and saying, hey, I've just added this to the product, would you like to push it out to your audience? Because if they say yes, you can make more revenue, you can get more people, you can increase your brand equity. If you've created a really massive product, you can split that product into smaller individual products, because that helps marketplaces such as us to actually sell one of those products and then say to our community, okay, you're interested in that, perhaps you'll want this product. And do consider the entire product life cycle and different audiences to market to. Don't be afraid of putting your product in bundles, because it's actually a different audience. The audience that buys it straight away and has the money to do so is different from the audience that might buy it maybe 6 months down the line, who didn't have that money to buy it in the first place. So you can actually make money off both of those. And many of the big designers, such as Lisa Glanz, are very, very happy. They will always put their products into bundles, because they know so long as they do it in a timeline, it's just not going to hurt their sales. Okay. So that was a lot to wrap up and a lot to pack into one thing. So they always are, right, Tom?
Oh,
so
yeah.
What I would
I love
say
it.
is, for more help, come and visit the Product Academy. Come and follow me on Instagram. I've got some really lovely followers on there, and I just want to say to them, thank you so much for all your lovely support. Honestly, it's just, I wouldn't be able to. Instagram's a really hard thing to do and really hard thing to start. And Tom, it took you a long time to persuade me to get into it, because I'm a bit old and I'm not the biggest on social, but it's a really enjoyable thing to do to help people out, and that's why I'm doing it. So it's lovely to get great feedback on this. So thank you so much for anyone here who gives me great feedback on that. Thanks, Anupama. I see you in the comments. Thanks so much. You're one of the first people who gave me support, and it makes a big difference.
I love that. Incredible tips. I'm going to read out Johannes, who is our community star. He says, have we exploded Matt's Insta yet? That was exactly what I was about to say. So
thanks,
let's
Tom.
in fact, let's temporarily change this. So Jem, can we change the shiny green button to Matt's Instagram, because it's going to get lost in the live chat? And if everyone could just leave a comment saying like followed or following already or something like that, because he was at 803 followers at the start of this session. We're about to hit 850, but let's
wow.
go.
So much.
Because yeah, there's so much value on that Instagram, and again, Matt is here to help, here to serve, not to sell.
Absolutely. And I'm saying here, do come to our step-by-step product design session on the 3rd of next month. I want to show off Julia's new product. I'm so proud of it. She's proud of it. We're really stoked, and we want to show you guys how we created it, because it's just really cool. Right then. So a few final takeaways, and then something a little bit different at the end. I hope we've got time for all of this. Absorb ideas and direction. Do not try and reinvent the wheel. Everything's out there, guys. Do the research. You're not an island, absorb it, and these ideas will come. Talk to people, talk to an audience that you build up yourself. They will give you ideas. Do listen to advice and feedback. It is a shortcut to success. Again, you're not on your own.
Matt, can't wait to welcome you back. That's going to be an incredible session. And thanks again for today.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.